don't agree with his State pick either. I don't think they'll cover at all. I think they'll win. I would still take the over, but I think that game will be much closer. I think he's given State's defense a little too much credit there. I know UMass is not good, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, State's defense is so bad, it's just going to give. Even Eastern Kentucky was able to move the football on State. They just couldn't put it in the end zone. I think UMass will keep this game much closer than Mississippi State fans would like them to.
Part of me wants to tell you that you're scarred and you're crazy.
Well, here's what we'll do then. So the State played UMass in 2016 and in Foxborough.
I remember.
The final score of the game was 47-35. That was a really, really bad Mississippi State defense. But it was better than this one. And they still put 35 on them. I mean, State gave up 670 yards. I mean, it
just hurts hearing that. I mean, that's painful.
It's just the truth. It's just the truth. I think State will win. I think State will outscore them. But this game's going to be I think my prediction was 42-28, something like that. And that's with State getting like a late touchdown just to try to put it away. But I mean, if I were to get conked on the head and wake up Sunday morning and you told me the final score of this game, the State wins 45-42, I wouldn't be totally surprised by that. Oof. That's the kind of score that might create some movement to go ahead and make a move.
A loss would most certainly do that.
A loss, you almost have to do something at that way. You got to give the fans some blood at that point because they're just going to be an angry mob.
But there's no reason to think that UMass should be able to stop this offense really at all.
State should be in the 40s. I think Van Buren has a big day.
Yeah.
I think he has a really big day, which is great, and that should be something to be celebrated. But I think State's defense is going to give up yards and they're going to give up some points. Just because they've done it to everybody they've played this year outside of one team, and that was an FCS team.
So aside from MVB, and I swear I'm not being flippant. I know how this sounds, but is there anything else that can be taken away from this game other than the catastrophe that would be a loss? Because it's not fair. It's totally not fair. But the reality is, even if they are able to stop UMass, the response, it's UMass.
Yeah.
Will be the response. So it's not even they can't even have a good day defensively because nobody's going to read into that at all.
Yeah, even if they were to win easily, 42-14, that people would just be mad. They're like, where's this been? Why can't we? Because State's giving up 43 points a game in conference play. What's their record if they're giving up 28 points a game? It's just, I made the mistake. I don't know if I made the mistake of looking through the numbers again, the numbers that State, the total defense numbers and things of that nature for Mississippi State in this season, and they're just crazy. Here's one. There's no way you knew this, right? So State is dead last, as you might guess, in scoring defense, right? They're giving up 36.4 points per game. That's a silly big number. Okay. Florida is the second worst scoring defense in the league, right? Mm-hmm. They're giving up 23.6 points per game. So there's a difference of about 13 points per game, right?
Florida's played the most difficult schedule in college.
No, I'm going to make it much worse for you. Ready? So the gap between 15th and 16th is, say, 12 points per game, right? That's the gap between 15 and 1.
No way.
It is. Florida's giving up 23.5 per game. Ole Miss is giving up 11 per game.
Yep.
The gap between 1 and 15 is the same as the gap between 15 and 1. I'm sorry, 15 and 16. Total defense for yards.
Unbelievable.
For yards, it's almost the same. The gap between State and Florida again is 15th in total defense. The same gap exists from 15 to 3, which is again Ole Miss. Wow. It's 108 yards of difference per game. State giving up 478 yards of offense a game. Florida giving up 371. Ole Miss is giving up 294. So it's actually a little bit more. You could probably get out. You could almost get out of Tennessee. Tennessee is second at 259. So 259 plus 107 is 3. I mean, yeah, it's more. Yeah. Sacks is the other one. State is dead last in the country in sacks.
See, and that goes back to your point that you've brought up a lot last couple of weeks, is there is a talent deficiency.
It's not that big.
It's not worst in the country talent deficiency.
The number 15 team in the conference for sacks is Tennessee. They have 3 times as many sacks.
Yeah, that's not
They
just.
have 15 sacks. State has 5. I mean, how do you not get a sack a game? 1 sack a game is not that much to ask, but apparently it is.
With also, I mean, Eastern Kentucky and Toledo having been.
Did I tell you the Calvin Dinkins thing? Do I have time? Calvin Dinkins.
30 seconds.
He's been out since week 1, right? Has not played a minute since week 1. He's still second on the team in sacks.
And he's done for the season.
He's done for the season, yeah. So he may finish second on the team. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating when I talk about this defense.